Soin Go So welcome in everybody to our Arabic mind maxing course. I read a very valuable manifesto recently, and it said, "Let the children lead. Let the young people lead the way. Follow them. Let them share, let them direct, and let them find a way to support this environment and this community." So I'd like to invite all members of our community to go into this field of mind maxing that is in the direction and coming from the place of our natural compassion and wisdom. I'd like to allow members of the community and invite, not that I'm in control here, but to invite members of the community to come up, to be sincere, to ask questions, to share their experience, so that we may have a very valuable and fun session, not just for ourselves, but for the people that we know in our lives, for the people that look to us, for all of our relations, living and non-living, for our ancestors, for all beings of all lands everywhere. May we pay back the debts of our unwholesome actions that we've taken, and may we do more and more wholesome actions, more and more good deeds to support not only ourselves, but our global and our universal community. May all beings everywhere be happy, safe, and peaceful. Let us officially begin this mind maxing course and Q&A and sharing experience with a few moments of silence. Okay, let's begin. Okay, can everyone hear me clearly? So let's start off by getting some W's in the chat. For those who don't know me, I am Dr. Rob. I was a Buddhist monk for 8 years. I've traveled the world. I've been on the Kai Cenat stream. I've been on the Matan Evans podcast. I've collaborated with some million subscriber YouTube channels. But my real work and my real passion is working with children, people like you, and young men, young adults as well. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share some of my wisdom and my experience, and ways that I've learned to relate to myself to reduce suffering and also to show up in the world in a helpful and a compassionate way. The way that we're going to do this is we're going to let you guys lead the direction. And one by one, we can come up, we can ask questions, we can share our experience. And I'm looking forward to this event. We also received a $10 donation over on our live streams. So thank you for the 10 Australian buckaroos. That's very appreciated.
Yo, Dr. Rob.
Go ahead. Please introduce yourself first. How old are you? Where are you from? What's your back? A little bit about your background.
Oh, yeah, so I'm Carter. I'm 16. I live in Latin America at the moment. And, yeah, I don't know why I got invited to speak up, but how you doing, Dr. Rob?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Bye.
Yo, what up, Rob?
Hey.
Yo, my name is Jones. Yeah, my name is Jones. I'm from Africa, South Africa. Yeah, I got you're Buddhist, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, you've been Buddhist your whole life, or?
No, after I graduated high school, I didn't have the social structure anymore. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like in high school, you have
Yeah.
something to do every day. You're always like with friends or people who are kind of your friends, but they're actually your friends because you spend time together every day. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
after
yeah.
I graduated, that all just fell apart, and I was so isolated. I felt so isolated, and I basically just started to lose my mind, like really deep depression, and that led me to try and find a way to deal with that that wasn't like going to a psychiatrist or taking, like SSRIs and stuff. So I found spirituality, basically, like Alan Watts, and just not like the crystal stuff, but more like philosophical, Eastern philosophical spirituality. And then that led me to Buddhism and meditation and Zen Buddhism specifically.
Yeah. Wait, Buddhism, is that karma or is that Hinduism?
Karma is cause and effect. So karma basically
Okay.
means like if you do good, you feel good. Your heart feels good. Your deeper
Yeah.
mind feels good. You might do bad and feel good superficially, like you might feel pleasure by doing
Yeah.
something that's selfish, but in terms of your heart and your deeper mind, when you do good, you feel good. When you do bad, you feel bad. And the most basic definition of good is not really philosophical. It's more in line with generosity. So like
Yeah.
actually you sacrificing yourself in some way to help others, and kind of finding a way to do that as a major part of our lives. It not only keeps us stable, but it also raises up our level of consciousness. Or like, how
Yeah.
sometimes there's people who they're there and maybe they're cool and they have money and stuff. Maybe they're attracted, but they're not really with it. Like they're not
Yeah.
tuned
Yeah.
in. They're kind of not really like fully there. And so when I
Yeah.
say like raising your level of consciousness, it means you're like really fully there. And you can actually
Yeah.
become more and more fully there, and then people have to relate to you in a different way because you carry that
Mm.
level of consciousness with you. And so when it
Yeah.
comes to someone like having a position of authority over you, and like practical, like at a job or whatever, that raising your level of
Mm.
consciousness, it actually shows that that person has to like be careful with you, because ultimately you don't
Yeah.
take any shit. You don't go into the just make it made up zone. People make up
Yeah.
stories, people make up ideas of what's going on, but it can be less and less connected to like reality or a specific
Yeah.
actual view of the situation.
Yeah. There's like my friend, right? Yeah, I've also looked into some Buddhism and some other spiritualities a little bit, not too much, but yeah. I feel like my friend is in a really bad loop. So like he did something really bad, and he just keeps on getting penalized for that. It's like, is there any way to break out of it? Any like in your like, have you had any experience with that?
Share your presence, share your time and your energy. And raising your own level of consciousness, let's say, it's something that you do here and now. It's not something that like
Yeah.
you train for months and then your muscles are bigger so you can pick up the heavy weight. It's more like you train yourself now to be more conscious, more present,
Yeah.
more aware, and less caught up in all of the complicated thinking about yourself and about
Yeah.
others. So you can only be free now. That's the value
Yeah.
of freedom over like status or monetary wealth, or people really like you, people praise you, is that all of that stuff is
Yeah.
time based. Same with depression and stuff. So or like, oh, I feel pleasure, it's time based, whereas freedom is like breaking free from time, breaking free from the story of yourself, the story of your depression. Because think about
Yeah.
mental sickness, mental illness, and physical illness.
Yeah.
So we have a body
Yeah.
and a mind, right? So if you had a physical illness where you like broke your leg or broke your ankle, like that's the reality. You can't strap on like a nanobot biological ankle and just fix it. And it's the same if you go through depression, you go through anxiety, maybe that's a part of your life. But what you can do in this moment is you can rise above that. You can be beyond that. And you can stop that cycle of deepening that identity that's based on depression or anxiety or some mistake that you've made in your life.
Hmm. Yeah, cause like yeah, my friend is really bad mentally, cause like he has some problems with his like parents, right? So like he got kicked out from his house because like um he was buying some weird ass shit, and his parents found it and they called the cops on him. So now like he lives alone, but he's in a really fucked up mental state. Like yeah, wait. Yeah, he said to me he pisses on the floor because he doesn't have the energy to go to the bathroom anymore. Like he's just he has no energy to just shit. Like, you know, like how do I help him? Like I'm really worried about my dude, bro. He's like and I don't live in the same country as him, so I can't really do anything physically.
Well, first of all, maybe recommend that he pisses in bottles. You know what I mean? Probably
Yeah, I
better to
mean,
piss on a
he
bottle
just
than it is the floor. But sometimes you can't help. I mean, it's like, what if your friend had a physical illness where he broke his leg? Can you help that? Can you fix that? Maybe the best doctor in the world can't fix that at that time. Now, it takes time to heal.
yeah,
So I'd be happy to talk with your friend, you know, if you want to set up a meeting between the two of us, and maybe I could help
yeah.
snap him out of it. All right. Thank you, F.
But my friend is actually in this call right now. His name is T Gun.
Well,
Like his
why
profile
don't
picture
you?
is a dog.
Maybe it sounds like a situation maybe we should talk with more privately. So, if you'd like, you can set up
All
a
right,
meeting with me and him. Okay. Thanks, F.
all right.
Bye bye.
I love you, bro.
Love you too. Bye. So we can take a moment of silence. Feeling our heart beating. What's more important to you living your life? Your thoughts or your heart beating moment by moment? So, for example, if you spent a bunch of time, like if you spent 5 minutes not thinking, you'd be completely fine. Would be no problem for the rest of your life if you spent 5 minutes not thinking. If your heart spent 5 minutes not beating, you'd be dead. So it's not just our words and phrases that appear seemingly inside of our skull that matter. It's also the experience of the heart beating. There's a wisdom in that. There's an intelligence in that. There's a power in that. You can listen to your heart. Okay, guys, so who's next?
Dr. Rob, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
How are you?
I'm good.
Well, I'm not Dr. Rob. I find it very hard not to think about anything. I think my neuroreceptors are completely cooked from watching TikTok and playing video games all day.
Well, try this. Just try to stare into my face. as long as you can. As well, so just give all the attention, all your mental attention onto staring into my face, and I'm going to stare into you staring into my face, okay? So try to meet, you see what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at me looking at you through the camera, through the technology. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you turn on your camera so everybody else can see what you're doing?
I can't. I'm subhuman, so I don't want to show myself.
Okay. You have another question? But this is
Yeah,
really
how would you,
important what you brought up. So if we can't stop thinking, then our thoughts control us all the time, always. Welcome up, Enzo. Nice username. Okay.
Hi, Dr. Rob.
Hi, Cookie. What's your question?
What do you think about Christianity?
What do I think about it? Maybe be a little. Maybe
Yeah.
can you introduce yourself and some of your background with Christianity?
Yeah, my name's Cookie. I'm Coptic Orthodox, which is like Oriental Orthodox. And I've been like a Christian my whole life, and I've been baptized. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, there's a little bit of a difference between Coptic Orthodox and like American Christianity. So
Yeah, American.
you wouldn't want to put these two in the same thing, and the value that you're going to get by being Coptic Orthodox is checking out some of those books that were written by saints and by monks. You know, if you
Yeah,
you
I
think
think-
about it this way though, if you really believe in God, there's a curiosity that goes along with that, according to the depth of your belief. And so prayer is how you spend time with God. Prayer is how you meet God, right? Prayer is how you come into, let's say, union with God. And if you don't take prayer seriously, your belief is always just going to be something that confuses you rather than something that empowers you. And it's the same with meditation. That's why I act so crazy a lot of the times, because I don't meditate enough. I don't do enough formal meditation.
Yeah. That's nice to hear.
Go ahead, Milo.
Shut the fuck up.
And so a big problem in our lives is going to be our egos. We want to be in control. We want to be powerful. We want to have what anybody else has. And so when you don't have a relationship with generosity, you're constantly comparing what you have to what someone else has. And deep down in the ego, there's these four worldly winds that the ego operates on: pain and pleasure, gain and loss, also profit and loss, right? Same kind of words. Status and disrepute, praise and blame. So the ego operates under these principles. And when we don't have an active relationship with generosity, with doing good deeds, with helping others, with that mindset of helping others, our ego might be strong, but the ego is always subject to the bad side of itself. So if you're only attached to getting what you want, you're constantly going to be experiencing losing what you have. And that's going to perpetuate this cycle of suffering and major difficulty. So the number one advice that I can give to you guys, very, very important advice, is to have a relationship with generosity in your life. Have a relationship with offering to others, sharing with others in your life. Okay. Do you guys understand that idea? That life principle? Okay?
So
And then the other aspect of that as well is then applying it. Because if you don't apply a principle that you understand is true, then you're not going to get the benefits from it. So if you just go around
Man,
believing or
you talk too
thinking,
much. Let's calm down.
okay, go ahead,
Yo,
soldier.
hi, what's good, bro? Hello, bro.
So please start by introducing yourself, soldier.
Hi, I'm David. I'm from Israel, and yeah, bro, and I'm 15. So, bro, first of all, I had to ask, like, how are you, bro? Like, do you feel good? Because, like, I care for you, bro.
What's it like growing up in Israel? I feel fine.
Bro, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay. Thanks, soldier. Bye bye.
No, I have a question.
Also, everybody, I want to express some gratitude for our the owner of the server, Ali. Ali is a very good friend of mine, a Muslim young man from Lebanon, and he set up this stage. He set up this event, and let's get some W's in the chat for our Muslim leader, the Muslim owner of the server.
I'm Christian, by the way.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Christian,
Yeah,
Lebanese
yeah.
Christian. That's what I
Yeah.
meant to say. Lebanese Christian.
Thank you.
So we really appreciate that kind of deep Christianity. That's where we find a lot of similar values between a Buddhist practice. Thich Nhat Hanh, who's a really great Buddhist teacher. For any of you guys, if you ever find yourself dealing with depression or anxiety or really being lost in the sauce, Buddhism doesn't, it's not about being a Buddhist or being religious, but how can we use like Lebanese Christianity, or how can we use Buddhist practices and Buddhist ideas, not to change religions or even have a religion, but to work with our own subconscious mind, work with our suffering. And one of the big ideas here is about having a proper relationship by connecting and benefiting one another. And that's how we create like real sustainable friendships that then we can share with other people. We can help other people. Because at the core of looks maxing is young men helping other young men, men helping men. That's what looks maxing is about. And if we're not really participating in that helping side, we're likely to just get an ego that's out of control. We're always trying to get status and fame. We're always comparing ourselves with other people. And as much as you want to improve your quality of life, that's great. But we do also have to have kindness inside of ourselves and certain values. Otherwise, we get lost in our own mind. We lose our freedom and our ego's constant judging. Hey, Tongwa, go ahead.
Yo, what's up, Dr. Rob? How are you doing?
I'm doing
Yo,
good.
you look like you're doing pretty well.
Thank you.
What's happening right now? I just joined. I saw that you were in here, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should get in here. Yo, Dr. Rob. It's great to see you, man. Hey, Shami.
So using your own mind to be aware of your own mind. Watching your own mind,
is my
like what
thing
you're
for it.
thinking, how you're going from one thing to, your attention is going from one thing to another, right? And then also thoughts are happening. So using your mind to watch that mind happening. You see what I'm saying? So that's a major
Yeah, I hear what
practice.
you're
That's
putting
a
down.
major practice for mind maxing.
How can I mind max right now as an 18-year-old Dr. Rob?
I just told you.
Right now, though, right now, what can I do right now?
Use your own mind to watch your attention going from this thing to that thing. Use your own mind to watch the thoughts that are going on in your mind. Now, I want you to do an exercise with me, okay? I want you to look at me while we do
I'll
this,
do an
okay?
exercise.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at you right
Breathe
now.
it. Okay. We don't need the internal dialogue to be external, right? You just need to follow the instructions with your body. Okay, you ready? So breathe in deeply. Breathe out deeply. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out deeply. Breathe in deeply. Hold your breath. So, holding our breath underwater is very important, isn't it? When we have a constant, it's a rhetorical question, right? It's a rhetorical question. So let's not, I don't want to have to give you the low IQ roll right now. So when we are constantly thinking and constantly jumping between one thing or another, we're under the water of our ego. And so when we practice not thinking, we learn to hold our breath underwater. When we do that, we see the importance of being above water or above our thinking, that it's not only our thinking that matters. And we get the relief and the refreshment of breathing without thoughts, breathing without being attached to thoughts. This is also very essential for prayer, for developing your relationship with God, if you're a Christian or if you're a Muslim. When we do prayer, we're not just focused on our own thoughts, right? We're trying to bring our thoughts to God, to deepen our relationship with God, so that we can be free, so that we can be at peace, right? God gives us peace. God gives us freedom. God gives us empowerment. And so if we want to be peaceful, free, and empowered, we can't just rely on our own ego. It might work out now, but it's not going to work out in the long run, for sure. Because let's say, for example, Tongwa, you're a good-looking young man, right? Let's rate Tongwa's PSL, everybody. What is Tongwa's PSL? Just give the rating, everybody. Okay, 3 out of 8, 5 out of 8, 4.7. These are accurate metrics, right? Okay, so if Tongwa spends the next 50 years cultivating or generating more and more PSL and more beauty and more experiences of a high PSL in the world, what's going to go along with that is a lot of attachment to that beauty. A lot of attachment to that beauty, right? Does that make sense, Tongwa? You'll be cultivating, you'll be generating, as a side effect, a lot of attachment to that high PSL score, right? Now, what is eventually going to happen to all of us as human beings? We're either going to get sick, die, or experience old age. And all of those lower our PSL scores. So, understanding that our PSL is inherently going to go down. It's not for sure going to go up, but it is for sure going to go. So what is the PSL score of a corpse rotting in the ground being eaten by maggots? What's the PSL score of a corpse, Tongwa?
if it had like Chad bones or not. Maybe it was like maybe the decomposition makes it subhuman, but maybe the
Okay.
bones make it primal. Maybe it gives it PSL 7. Maybe
Well,
I don't know.
I know that we all enjoy the low IQ meme maxing, right? But we will have real life. Real life will be waiting for us one way or another. So your PSL, everyone here's PSL is going to reach 0. Let's get some W's in the chat. Even true atoms will become 0 out of 8 PSLs. So it's a wisdom to recognize the inevitability of failure, the inevitability of the ego's power going to 0 or our beauty going to 0. This is why we practice kindness, compassion. This is why we try to generate this mind of freedom, peaceful freedom. Freedom is also equatable with peace, because how can you be at peace if you're not free? You see what I'm saying? So we value
Yeah, I see what
money.
you're saying.
We value money so much because money in our minds, at least for our ego's perspective, allows us to be free. All right. Thank you, Tongwa. I'll talk with the admins about giving you a low IQ, okay? Thank you for coming up. So let's go to the next person.
Yo, what up, Rob? So yeah, I need help with my own personal problems, cause like I got schizophrenia, so I see a bunch of shit, like it just happens randomly. Like it happened like 30 minutes ago. I was seeing like fucking this guy crawling into my window, and just I tried touching him, and my hand went through, and it's just like paranoid as fuck, bro.
What was
Like,
his
right now I'm just
PSL?
tweaking, bro.
What was his PSL?
Nah, he was like a good like a low tier normie.
Okay,
I low-key
so
hype-mogged him.
so if you have any schizophrenic vision of somebody who's sub 5, ignore them. Simple as that. Okay, guys, so raise your hands. The guys who want to ask real questions or want to be creative, come on up. So Soldier, you're not coming back up. B Tiles, we want to get some new members coming up,
hello.
guys. New members coming up.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you recommend getting a bald head like yours, man?
Everybody will
No,
become.
I really.
Everybody will become bald. So everybody is going to lose everything. You will die. Everyone here is going to die. And we say, oh, yeah, we know that. But do you understand that that's essential to life? That there's no life without death? That that's a reality for your life? Now, I think that we're slowly starting to get a little bit unstable because maybe we don't have so much attention span. So we're kind of getting into our memes a little bit. But I want you guys to feel empowered to come up, to ask questions, to be real. I want you guys to relax. Don't be so shy, okay? And if we want to bring up some memes, let's bring up some high-tier memes, right? Don't just come up and fart in front of the class when it's your time to give a presentation. If you're the only one that's ever done that, that's great. But if everybody's doing that, it's just a room full of farts. Nobody wants to be in that room, right?
Yeah, Rob, I have actually a question relating to this. I was wondering how you can increase this attention span and make it so that you have the time to check your own thoughts and stuff like this. I don't think I'm capable of doing so.
You have to find something that interests you. You have to live a meaningful life. You have to ask yourself, what interests you? What's important to you? What's valuable to you? All right, guys, look, we need to have a bit of a server discussion right now. If we're saying that in the official Looks Maxing server, that all we have for meme lords is like low IQ sub 5 guys that won't even turn their cams on, we're supposed to be better than that. Let's get some high IQ meme lords, right? Let's get some high IQ cool guys, right? All right, go ahead. Let's bring up number 1 ranked gamer. I think it's number 1 ranked gamer. Go ahead.
Hello, bros. Hello. I have a question, Dr. Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's about looks maxing. So I'm 15. I wanna hop on a human growth hormone to become.
Oh, oh,
Bro, who's
oh,
this guy?
oh.
Alright. Okay, so I'm also a musician, bro. Do you wanna listen to my new song?
How about I sing a song for you guys instead? How's that sound? Let's get some W's in the chat if you want to hear Dr. Rob's Looks Maxing song. W's in the chat. So remember, guys, even though we're in a VC, right, or we're in a stage channel, right, and we can see a bunch of people, like we can see Tongwa, right, but actually Tongwa can't see us. I can't see anybody here. Nobody here.
Nigger, you're a nigger, High Hitler, nigger.
Nobody here can see anybody else. So when we come up to the stage and we try to be like meme lord maxing and stuff, then people can see us, they can hear us, and maybe they'll say, "Oh my gosh, wow, that was really funny. That guy's like that guy who just came up. We all know he's a bad boy, right? He doesn't have no respect. He don't care. He's a cool guy. He fucks around, and if you fuck with him, watch out." Everybody knows that now, right? But when you guys are just sitting here, nobody can see you. Nobody knows how you're making use of this. So make use of this the best way that you can, right? Be as real as you can, because the only person that you're really here with right now is yourself. You're not here with anybody else. I mean, at least in terms of, how we think of that in being human. Like, that's why it's maybe difficult for Tongwa to be on stage and show his camera, because he's so much thinking about other people can see me, other people can see me. But you guys, when you guys are just here listening, you're alone, and you're alone with your own mind and with Dr. Rob, if you're looking at Dr. Rob and hearing his voice. But try to feel Dr. Rob's mind. Don't just listen to what he says, but try to feel the mind behind that. Maybe you guys want to see me sing a song? Sing a song that kind of shares a little bit of my message? No, you guys don't want to see that? Okay. So what do you guys think we should do now? What's your guys' idea? How should we make the best use of this time together? With Dr. Rob, who was a Buddhist monk for 8 years.
We should fuck you in the ass.
Okay. I don't think that we're going to be doing anything like that, Milo. And remember, guys, we have a responsibility here. We have a responsibility to ourselves to have a good time, to have fun, to feel good. But we also have a responsibility to help others. We have a responsibility to make the best use of what we have. And if we don't use that responsibility, it'd be hard to call you a human being. Also, remember, guys, the only option isn't like to be super shy or to be like a meme lord cool guy. But come up here, you're anonymous. Come up here, ask your real question, be real. We need to be real with each other. If all we're doing is being fake, what kind of life is that? What kind of experiences are we going to have? Most of the time we're watching content. We're consuming content that's been recorded. And then we might not have that much time where we're actually spending with other people, having meaningful conversations or meaningful experiences. So now is a time where we're actually live together, and we can make the best use of that time. We can be creative. We can be curious. Go ahead, Nikki.
Hello, Dr. Rob.
Yeah, bud. What's up?
My question about is, well, where do you currently live?
I live in Vietnam.
Do you have any like cultural teachings that you really enjoy and something that, you know,
Yeah.
you learned in there?
Yeah, so as a Westerners, we're very hyper individual. So we mostly think about ourselves. We think about our
Exactly.
identity compared with everybody else's identity. The Eastern philosophy is more like we think about our identity in relationship to our communal identity. So this creates like values like respect, and it also supports an intuition about who other people are. So when we're hyper fixated on ourselves, we don't really have much heart or gut intuition about the qualities of somebody else, because we're only thinking about someone else in terms of how we could use them based on our ego. Where in the Eastern
Totally.
philosophical perspective, it's like, how can we use our ego for others or in reference to others? One makes it very, very difficult to build community and very, very difficult to build relationships. And the other makes it very easy to do that. And so if you're in a position where like your parents were millionaires and you're super wealthy and now you can buy your way into being a kick streamer and like you're attractive and you can drive your Bugatti down to Monaco and stuff, then yeah, you can live that kind of life. It's probably going to work out. But if you're coming from middle class or lower middle class and you're setting up this standard of your own life based on like millionaires and social media influencers, life is going to be really difficult. And you may find it very difficult to find ways to live a meaningful life, which is eventually going to make you quite depressed. You know, not when you're, you know, hopefully when you're young, you have more playfulness, you have more openness, you're more hopeful, right? But as you get older as a Western person and you start to confront the world, actually, it's very difficult to be hopeful, because hope comes from a relationship with community, right? It comes from a relationship with people who are well-rounded and are busy living their lives in a way that's not totally selfish. When we live like that, we destroy any environment that we come into. We pollute it. We drain it until it's barren and it's you know, basically nothing of value anymore.
Yes, I totally get this because I'm from Eastern Europe and the society around me is mostly anti-Western, so I get where you're coming from.
Another major Western issue, and everybody has issues. There's issues everywhere, and there's solutions everywhere too, right? But is that we no longer believe in morality. We vaguely still believe in it, but it's not something that we practice in any meaningful way. So we see morality more as something to be used to punish others or elevate ourselves above other people. And when you don't practice morality, it's like you're not using the fundamental human rule that when you do good, you will feel good. And so you have all of these, young men coming up that don't have any realistic relationship with morality or being a good person or being kind or being forgiving or being patient or being compassionate or being anything that's not just some ego LARP about selfishness. And it creates totally broken relationship with ourselves, with other people, and also with the people that we care about or that we're responsible for. And it's not like trying to crucify people or say that they're stuck in that position, but it's something to be aware of that our modern Western society doesn't really have at its root as an essential ingredient, like the teaching that says, hey, be a good person. If you are really a good person, you will have a good mind, you will have good relationships, and things will work out. What that is instead shifted to is generosity means meeting the desires of someone else. So the core of morality is generosity, and because of that idea, generosity is becoming something that's transactional in nature. So we're only good when we get something out of it. And then we entirely lose that idea of finding meaningfulness in our life by helping others, by service. And instead, we're constantly trying to exploit others. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a good way to live for the earth, for our relationships with other people, and also for our deeper mind. So it's like every guy that's come up and trolled or been like, I have no respect for this, I'm the crazy guy. It's like, that's fine, but that has nothing to do with their relationship with their deeper mind, where you can't really work with depression or anxiety or real meaningful relationships that you have in your life with that kind of approach and mentality. And then everybody doesn't want to be bored. Everybody doesn't want to be bored, but being bored is about how it helps us open to life. It helps us find value in meaningful things instead of just value in that which makes us feels pleasurable to us. And then you get these guys that are just in this constant pleasure cycle, and their lives are never going to lead anywhere. So you might be able to find some general balance in that constant pleasure status cycle and profit wealth cycle, but you'll never be a good father that way. You'll never be a good boss that way. You'll never be a good community leader that way.
Yeah, I totally get it, and it's very, very wise thing to say. Thank you for your time, Dr. Rob.
Rob, I have a question.
Yeah, bro.
All right, my question is, how can we become more, less attached to our physical appearance, How do we detach ourselves from just that superficial fixture in life?
Well, you have to stop seeing yourself as a character in a movie. Like seeing the world as always about you or in reference to you. Or the world in reference to your own thoughts.
Yeah, I understand that, but let's take it from maybe somebody who may not be so egotistical or narcissistic. I'd say a lot of us, even people who may have a lesser social status or maybe a worse looking appearance, maybe genetically, a lot of people, they don't really see themselves necessarily as in, maybe a Blockwood, Hollywood, Tom Cruise, but just simply, just wanting to look better in general. And just, the image of, okay, how can I look better for maybe this work environment that I'm going into? Because possibly maybe somebody who's 5'6" versus somebody who's 6 foot. you know, they're going to be looking at that 6 foot guy more often. So maybe they have to prioritize their looks. But how can us as a society, you know, maybe refute from that, you know, conviction that like society puts on us? You know,
Yeah.
how do we get out of that?
Well, it's a big part of it is that it's a LARP. So, what is your actual situation? It's this idea that we were supposed to be born of like our parents were supposed to be millionaires, right? We were supposed to be at least, you know, we definitely weren't supposed to be sub sevens. And we're supposed to be naturally 7+ out of 10. I'm not talking about PSL here. It's a little bit more specific, right? And so now we're not in that situation, but we're directly connected to that. So we're thinking about how are we going to compete for the Wall Street job? How are we going to compete for the this white collar job that's right around the corner? And actually, that's not the reality for most people. So real advice is not philosophical, it's specific. So a question about how do you deal with that situation for that specific job, for your life, is something that you bring to a mentor. It's something that you bring to your father or to your mother. And instead of this idealized version of your life where you are supposed to be the son of a millionaire, but it just didn't happen that way, and now you've got to kind of put the pieces back together so you're as close to that as possible, you actually you have to start looking at your own life and your own direct experience now. And that's when you can get real advice. So a lot of what people are doing is using like a totally watered down, shallow philosophical system. Like looks maxing is a philosophy, right? It's like a shallow philosophy, a shallow psychological system. It's an ideology, right? Yeah, it's more of an ideology. And so using that and then trying to overlay that on your life is not as useful as using your life that you're actually living right now, like what you're experiencing right now. And that's also what meditation is. And then overlaying that onto looks maxing. So now instead of trying to take the parts of your life that might help you look max, you're taking the parts of looks maxing that might help your life. Otherwise, you're trying to find this deep truth and meaning in something that doesn't represent itself to be deep and truthful. So your own life, as you're experiencing it, as you're living it right now, is the definition of deep and truthful. If you can actually concentrate to look at the experience of your body right now. Like the feeling of your breathing, the feeling of your heart beating. If you feel anxiety right now in the body, what does that feel like? So this kind of concentration onto your direct experience, it allows you to be more skillful in whatever you do. And then we learn how to bring that into any place, any situation, any time. And then looks maxing becomes a tool rather than an ideology, which is how looks maxing should be used. It should be used as a tool.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. That is a very astute way to put it. In general, yeah, I feel like a lot of people are plagued by convenience in our modern day society, especially just the overt amount of like dopamine by like short form content. And it really does convolute a lot of people's perception on how people should be working with each other, especially in the dating scene, which a lot of people, what I realized was, I wouldn't say that looks maxing. I don't. You never said it was necessarily a bad thing either. But a lot of people would say that this tool is everything in life, which I feel like is an apprehension that a lot of people take out of context. You know, I feel like a lot of people, they do have a blunt temerity to them, but they don't really realize that in the end, if you don't have a good enough mind-muscle connection with your own self and you don't have that introspection, then you're not ever going to be seen as attractive in your own eyes, which I feel like that's something that a lot of Buddhists actually see very, very well. Um, just in general, to kind of just detach from your own body and rather embrace everything in life rather than just the vague embody, you know. Because I guess like as an agnostic myself, my mother is Buddhist, my father was Christian, but I was never raised in a way of maybe going into like religion or anything. So I always had to take it on myself to kind of create the answers for myself, which I feel like many people have to do, you know.
Well, it's also
And I guess yeah.
it's also an extension of the most meaningful experience that you guys have had in your life, which was going through the schooling system, right? And so you guys, your brain developed having very little time with developed brains. So your guys' brain development was based on other undeveloped brains, which is not how a child is supposed to develop. So your brain literally develops or evolves or like comes into fruition based on the brains of the people that you are around. Let's get some W's in the chat for science, everybody. And yeah, that's exactly how it works. So if you grow up in the home, for example, with a bipolar or anxiety-ridden or depressed-ridden parents or single parent, right, your brain is going to develop that kind of experience, that kind of physical structure. So we, in a big way, if we have this big vision, because we're looking to social media, we're looking to all the possibilities, we're aware of all these possibilities, we're actually going to have to look very, very deeply inside of ourselves to change the structure of our brain, the structure of our psychology. But if you're just putting an overlay onto a structure that you're not actually willing to look at, then there's going to be a constant misunderstanding between reality and what you think about reality. Whereas actually your thoughts should be a way for you to make use of reality, not to overlay on reality. Because reality is not thought-based. The most accurate way to know or to experience what's going on here right now is not based in thoughts or words and phrases. Because there's too many elements, there's too many aspects. And then we get into this social hierarchy of clavicular comes in here. And then Ali says, oh, clavicular says that he's going to be a major part of the server from now on, but you've got to get rid of that Dr. Rob guy. So Dr. Rob's out, right? And then what clavicular says is accurate, is true, is valuable, and everybody's is kind of just like drooling as they look at clavicular because of his status, because of his wealth, because of his, supposed expertise. So that's just an example, but reality itself is not something that can be like codified into a story. So this can't be contained in a story. And so if we can understand that, we can actually step back from our ego's compulsive involvement, and then we can use what's called discernment. So a skillful way of looking and making use of what's here according to our intention. And hopefully we have a good intention. Practicality versus idealism, exactly. And so a major, major weird thing for like our modern social situation is that we don't actually have much of a connection at all to practicality. Like when we have like, 26 people here in this call, but or you could have a call full of people, and the idea of like practically using that to benefit ourselves and benefit others would never come up. Whereas actually, if we're willing to sit down and spend some time together and have a conversation together, there are all kinds of ways that we could benefit ourselves and benefit each other that aren't just based on like entertainment games.
Right.
And so that's a principle that's not based on me saying that we have to do that. But some people would like, usually when something like that gets brought up, people almost have like a pinch of anxiety, like, oh, do we have to do that? Is that what we're supposed to do right now? But that's actually has nothing to do with what I'm saying. It's that is a way that we can practice and make use of being together like this, and just pointing to how rare it is that we will actually come together and do something like that is it's a confusion of spending time together socially and not making use of it. Like, still, nations are built not on money or technology or the weaponry. The value of a nation is in its people. I'm not talking about some ideological view. It's like the value of a human being. So like an army is threatening because of the number of human beings that it has. This server has value not because of the overall number, but how many people show up when you drop an everyone tag, and then how we make use of that time. But we're getting very disconnected from people power on social media because we're so focused on that short-term gain of likes and dislikes, stuff like that. It's like all this idea about, doing a startup, creating a business together, doing all these kinds of things together, right, to make money, to be successful. And yet, how equipped are we to actually work deeply with other people that we're around? Very, very inequipped, because we don't have much discernment. We don't have much capacity to put our ego down enough to actually view the situation as it is with a lot of closeness to the way that it actually is. So we're losing discernment. We're losing like our intuitive capacity to understand someone else. That's why I perform or I show up here like in a very absurd way. Like I send a lot of very ridiculous pictures and make like weird mind maxing memes and stuff like that, because the way that we usually relate to each other is absurd. So it's like trying to meet guys, say, look, this is totally absurd. Now you can actually have a conversation with me because we've already got that absurdity out of the way. Like most young men's discernment, like capacity to skillfully view and manage and make use of what's in front of them, is very, 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 very low. It's like exceedingly low. And so their operation in the world is coming from this total disconnection from reality, right? Where they're just kind of trying to climb up some ladder that's being presented to them by the algorithm, by influencers. That's why the whole like coaching economy and like advice economy and stuff just like blew itself out of proportion. That's why like the Andrew Tate stuff happened and all that. Because there's such a low level of discernment. For example, like have you ever seen the advertisements where some guy says, "Hey, I just found out the most wild business thing. You do this, this, and this, and that's how you make money. Nobody else is doing it, and I'm going to teach you how." You've seen that, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of business. If you found a way to make money that other people don't know about, that's very, very good, the last thing you would ever want to do is make competitors for yourself. But even a principle, even an understanding like that is very, very far away from most young guys' minds, where actually, intuitively, that's very clear. You don't need to think about that or have a philosophy or have that explained to you to understand that the last thing a business person would want to do is to create more competition. It's like if McDonald's, well, hold on. It's like if McDonald's was selling its recipes and its ways to make the burgers. So the marketing then is you. The marketing is selling something to you. The marketing is selling you marketing.
Well, yeah. I'd say that marketing is the prerequisite before you can really get into it, just because competitors are going to unequivocally be there. It's just whether or not you say that you have something that somebody else may be able to be interested in, or maybe something that somebody may want. I'd say that they use those campaigns to their advantage, not to capitalize off of people, which I guess inherently they would be capitalizing off of them if the person bought the item, but they do it just to grab the attention, just like how you say that you put those gifs, those like what is it, mind maxing gifs, so people join in the
It's a
call so
different.
they can really hear you.
But it's a totally different analogy. There,
But
most of
there's a duality.
those. Okay, Andrew. Let's look at Andrew Tate or selling marketing like drop shipping. The last thing a drop shipper would ever want is more competition in drop shipping. That is literally the antithesis of the business. You're not going to get drop shipping clients by telling people that you're making money drop shipping. You're going to get competitors for drop shipping. 1-to-1. So Andrew Tate, for example, his coaching course and stuff was him selling ways about easy ways to make money. So if you have an easy way to make money, selling an easy way to make money would make it more difficult for you to make money. And so the only reason that they would do that is to help others, to help other people make money.
Would you say that somebody like clavicular would be sort of pervasive in just society in general? Would you endorse something like clavicular's doing? Would you actually refute against what he's doing for the world? Would you say it's a bad thing that he's kind of pushing out? He's kind of galvanizing the whole lookism sphere? Because I feel like there's a little bit of a difference with what he's trying to spout out versus what people might be receiving back on him. You know, I feel like he's trying to glorify the fact that men should be taking more care of themselves because of the manosphere and how the dating scene is, just in the fact of hypergamy, especially for younger women, and how they have more power in a dating perspective. Would you say that what he's doing is actually helping the world, or would you say he's actually kind of pushing the people back, like our generation back as a whole?
Well, it's not really either or, and it's not our position to think about things that way. Like, think of how much time you spent with elders in a community. I mean, even to talk about that, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, right? So it's not, as average guys, it's not our position to think about the world. We don't have the experience to even think about a small group of people. We've never been in community like that. We've never had responsibility for other human beings. We've never lived with anybody besides our parents. And we spent most of that time on our smartphones or in school with other kids. So now we don't even have the mindset or the tools to think about managing or understanding a small group of people that we're choosing to stay with by our own consent. And now we're talking about the global social economy and global psychology. We don't have the tools to talk about that. But in terms of how clavicular is affecting the world, for one person, clavicular and his philosophy, right, that person adopts may lead them to seriously damaging their body and or seriously damaging their mind, right? As clavicular has shown many times, overdosing and damaging his body, long-term health results we don't know. But in the same way, okay, somebody who's following clavicular's philosophy could greatly improve their physical appearance and greatly improve their relationship with the world based on that. Now, would it be ultimately good or ultimately bad? We haven't received training in what good and bad really means, even for ourselves most of the time, let alone for the world. So I wouldn't answer something like that. I would love to work with clavicular. I would love to have a conversation with clavicular. But just like with the marketing scheme, the idea of helping people is more like an idea. It's an idea that people know about, but it's not something that's being practiced mostly. So clavicular's work isn't about practicing helping people. he may have that idea and he may use that idea as a justification to continue what he's doing, but it's primarily about, just because our culture, just how we grow up, it's primarily about more status, more profit, more self-control. How to express our self-control out into the world and how that makes ourselves feel better. Which is not a bad thing, because if we don't have meaningful relationships with other people and doing meaningful activities, then we're bound to depression. I mean, that's being a human being. It's not like we're a dog or something, or a cat. We just stay in a room and relax and eat and sleep and scratch the wall.
Right. I think other people also want to speak to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tongwa, for coming up. Let's get some W's in the chat for Tongwa, everybody. A very attractive and a very intelligent young man. W's in the chat. Whose mom was a Buddhist.
Yeah.
All right. Amitofo. All right. Who's next, guys? Master's here?
Hello? Hello, so I need help with my addiction. Do you think you can give me advice?
If you're honest with yourself, then I can give you advice. If you're just going to be trolling, then I'm not going to be able to give you any advice.
No, I have a problem, Master.
Oh, well. Good luck with your problem. Who's up next?
Yo, hello?
Hello? Who's there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's up?
Are you gonna be trolling?
Are you going to be trolling me?
No.
All right, next one. Let's bring up high inhibition. All right, guys, raise your hand if you have a question, guys.
Wait, I'm kind of confused. What did he do? Why'd you remove him?
Who?
High inhibition.
This is the guy that was repping 5 Alos. This is the 5 Alos guy.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, NAD.
Yo,
What's up, man?
can you advise
Yeah, you need advice? What
about-
about? What do you need advice about?
about my addiction on
Oh.
vaping?
Oh. Well, I don't know, man. Just do whatever. Be chill.
All right.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Okay, so that guy that you kicked out, like talking about masturbation and shit, like, I know you're a Buddhist and like you guys don't do that ever. What is your actual opinion on people addicted to masturbation?
Well, it can be a big problem. I mean,
Are you
it's...
like fully against that as a Buddhist?
No, I'm not against masturbation. It's just that usually guys masturbate too much. It's like, it's a...
So do women, actually.
Sure. Men, women, everybody. It's it's like your mental energy. It's not just your mental energy to live the way that you want to live or feel the way that you want to feel. Because like, wouldn't everybody here want to be the sons of millionaire parents, 7+ PSL, driving the Bugatti, the Audi, the Rolls Royce down to Monaco? I mean, isn't that what everybody here would like? But that's not, you don't get that. You're not allowed to have that. So it's the same with your mind, right? Like you can't make your mind just be the way that you want it to be all the time. It's like trying to control the seasons. So what we want to do is we want to keep our mind open for enjoying and making use of whatever arises, whatever happens in the best way possible. So the practice is mastering the seasons of our mind and of our life. And when you're spending every day masturbating, you're always going to be drained out, where you can't appreciate the small things when the small thing happens. Like you can't appreciate the good weather. You can't appreciate going for a walk if that happens. Now, trying to force yourself to go for a walk, that's going to make you stressed. But finding pleasantness, finding peace, finding rest in any and all aspects of our lives, that's how we master the seasons of our life. And too much masturbation, we get a little bit rid of our humanness. We monkify ourselves in not the Buddhist way, in like the monkey way. Like monkeys jerk off all the time, like 5 to 10 times a day.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you said the men, they masturbate a lot, right? So I wanna give you my opinion about something. It's not really an opinion; it's like an actual fact. Women are actually more like horny creatures than men by like a lot. Like they have more sexual drive than men, but like by like times 5 or some shit. Now, I would say personally, if women were more powerful, like more physically powerful than men, their rape percentile would be like 10 times higher.
That's an interesting thought.
Do you agree with it?
No. All right, guys. Well, W's in the chat, huh? This has been a pretty cool session. I think we got some really great clips from this. Doesn't look like we have anybody else who's raising our hand besides the kind of troll raid. So, yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here, guys. And thanks for coming out. Lots of love. And that's it.
Look me in my hunter eyes. I want you to be mine. Can't escape, I'm paralyzed.
All right, guys. So that live stream's over.